Zilliqa is sitting at a critical pivot point that's going to let us know where it's going to be hanging out for the next little bit of time. Let me show you what it is. Hello everyone, Carlton Flowers here, your Crypto Pro. Back again with a great video about a great project that I have a lot of confidence in. Actually, I don't know much about this project, but it is one that has been on my radar for quite some time, and it is Zilliqa. Zilliqa. Why does it sound like African-American female name from the hood? Zilliqa. Okay, maybe this was created in the hood. It's the first cryptocurrency created in the hood. All right, I'm just playing. Well, anyway, we're going to look at this chart, and let me just let you know, I don't know a lot about this project, and this is the first time I've really broken down the chart, okay, and give it any amount of time. And I spent 5 minutes and found a couple little clues of things that maybe could lend a little insight to you to let you know what's in the cards for this thing in the next few weeks to maybe month or two. All right, let's get rid of my handsome face and break down this chart on the 4 hour. So right off the bat, what you can see here, I've made this little parallel trading channel. And this is a popular little thing that I use. It's a tool, and it can kind of help you understand what's going on with a crypto that is in, say, a downward trend. It kind of confirms the trading pattern of what happens when you're in a long-term or a medium-term downward trend. They don't always hold true, though, and this one may not hold true either. But this is about the only little bit of evidence that I could find here that could give us a clue of where this thing's going. In fact, I could extend this to about right maybe here. As soon as we hit this point where we popped above the line on July the 8th of this summer, we have traded within this line ever since then. So what happens on these things, you'll see where they'll bounce from one end of the channel to the other. Bitcoin did this for like, what, a year? Where we just like bounced straight up and down through this huge, long trading channel. So this is like a micro version of what Bitcoin did while it was bouncing around in its massive trading channel before it broke out this summer. Okay, so what I see is a critical point where we will either pivot up or down, and it'll let us know what the action is going to be for the foreseeable future, and that pivot's going to come right around here. I was going to draw a line in a baseline, but it's right at the point of control, so I don't need to draw a line. And the interesting thing about this chart is this point of control stays even when we scroll out. Let's just keep moving this out, because you can see the volume profile changes as we move out. So we've got all of the trading history that is on Binance. I don't know if it goes back further beyond this date here. I'm not really sure, but 19th of February of 2019 is where this data begins. So since then, this point of control has sat here, has averaged out rather to be 0.01797. And it is also a point that we can see that has served as resistance and support. So let's zoom back into the recent here, and we can see that we kind of bounced up here. We came down, and then we failed support at the point of control and jumped right back up to it. It snapped up to it, fell below it, snapped back up to it, jumped above, and then we sat on it. Quick dip here, but it was a support. It came up, another quick dip. It acted as support again. Support for a third time, and then we jumped way on up here, and then we touched once, twice, and will we get a 3 times a lady? I don't know. And that all depends on what direction we're going to head out of here right now. So let's draw in this chart a little bit and talk about possibilities. We can see some volume nodes where the popular trading prices are as far as volume, and we got this big fat one right here, of course, and then we've got a nice decent node that's up above, and then there's a bunch of them down below. We got this one right here, We have another one at around 1 cent, and then we go below at about 0.08. Here's a nice bar here, and then we got this one at 0.004. So this is just taking it back to February of 2020. Okay, now let's clear this out and zoom in just a little bit further and talk about where we are on this stochastic cycle on this is the 1 day chart. I'm sorry. Let's start here at the 1 day. First of all, the stochastic, we have a crossover, so we're looking at a possibility of sinking down into a bearish move. We got our fast line that just crossed over the slow line and it's pointed in this direction. But the nice thing is that the on balance volume is generally held, which tells me that this is not really distribution going on, but it's just a sideways consolidation move. Okay, so if this stochastic cycle continues with this momentum, with this crossover happening and this low volume here, see how the volume is quieting down? I would suspect that there's a possibility based on this chart that the breakout will be down this way. Now, the bottom to me, if this breakout would occur, would be at the bottom of this parallel trading channel. And it's kind of neat that by coincidence, we see that the bottom of this trading channel would stick us right there at this volume node at just above 1 cent. Isn't that pretty neat? So to me, if I had to just make a complete blind guess, I would say that this is a bottom. We have evidence that this could be a bottom point for Zilliqa. So she's gonna bounce up right here. So Zilliqa, she gonna get her strength right here at the bottom and jump right on up out the hood and do some big things. You know what I'm saying? So I think she got this thing together. Now let's look at the 4-hour chart and see what we can see. We're within the big parallel trading channel here. Nice long consolidation move on balance volume is showing an increase and it's holding strong. And now, so this is to the contrary here on the 4-hour, we see that we're already in the oversold zone here and we had a crossover of the fast line and the slow line. So sometime within the next 4 hours of trading, we would expect that this stochastic should start to move up on an up cycle. And then of course we would start that next cycle like that. So let's just look at based on the 4-hour, it's more important on the 1 day to show the price that coincides with the peaks. I mean, right here we see we made it here on this peak. On the next peak, it was about the same. So there's just not much we can tell on this peak. About the same price, slightly lower. This one is showing that the trend is just slightly bearish, but that's not too scary to me, just slightly. But now when we jump on the 1 day, we can probably tell a little bit better about what these stochastic peak returns are giving us. So let's just look at it. This is just me looking at it right off the cuff. All right, let's start out on this peak here. Here's our price level here at around 3 cents. So the next stochastic peak gave us a much lower return, a lower high. And then we had this one that never made it to the overbought zone. So it was another lower high. Then here's our next peak, which we broke these two previous, and then we hit a higher high. But we did not eclipse the highest high, the all-time high of this whole chart since back to like 2019. So moving right along, the next peak here, we didn't get much of a price. That was definite lower high. And then here's our next peak, and we've got a higher high, but we did not take out the previous, we did not take out the previous higher high at this point. So on the 1 day, we can call this a peak. We have a crossover. I mean, it could turn around and continue up. This move might not be, it could do this. We don't know. We just don't know. But if it continues in this direction, we can call this the top, and that would be another low high. So on the 1 day, it looks like we're just kind of bouncing around here, but on the 4-hour, it might be telling us that we could bust a move to the top of the channel. I don't know. Or it could just be a smaller hump where we continue to fall down, and then we'll have to wait and see what price returns with this stochastic dip that happens down here. Where will it end up? Will it end up down here at the base of the parallel trading channel, or will it end up in the middle? That's what I'll be looking to see. Now, I want to get a bag, so where would I buy? I'm going to say that I'm going to probably look to jump in at, I would say, anywhere, within here, all the way down to the bottom of the section that pops between these two nodes. Of course, this node is important, and then this is the other one. We've got somewhat of a slip zone here where we could see a price drop as we get off of this point of control. So if we violate this base, if we poke below this line that is the base, the point of control, and we do this, then we could hit this slip zone, and that's where we could head to the bottom of this channel here. But if we support at the point of control, I think we're going to start to head to the top of this line, and then I would look for a confirmation on the 1 day of breaking above this channel, because then we'll be headed towards this one right there. And then maybe that could be the new base and start to build from that point. Now, overall, I don't know. There could be a correction that comes before this. And as I always say, it depends on Bitcoin. I don't know what Bitcoin's going to do right now, because we're still sitting at that 50-50 point of, are we going to correct now? Or are we going to shoot the 16,000 before we correct? I don't think that we're just going to go to the moon on Bitcoin. Some are saying 20,000 before correction. I don't know. I'll say that I was dead wrong when I predicted before, when we were at 11,000, that was it, that there was no way we would break above 12, and it did it. So take that with a grain of salt. But this is at least a strategy that I will use. Now, one other thing, when you look at the overall, let me get rid of this. And this is the last thing, and then we're done. When we scrunch this all in, we see this nice bowl action overall. So this is a pretty good story that the price is telling. So when we jump way back here into the 2019 area and we're coming up, and then we had the big correction, and then this is accumulation period, and we get our little bump, and then we go into consolidation after the March dip, which this is the March dip, and then we start into consolidation, and then we had this run, the run up. And so what I'm looking for is that new base level to be established. So really, I would say that the new base is going to set in anywhere in here, okay? And I say bottom of this trading channel would be a good possibility for a nice strong base, like right there, where it's not. I would say that since this was the previous base before, we're going to level up, because we're definitely, the market is headed in a different direction, and I see it going up from here. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. And like I said, I'm not really super into this. There's not a lot of price history, but it is an interesting project. It's got a lot of good fundamental strength, and maybe you can clue me in on what impresses you the most about this project. I definitely want to get a bag, so we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think the base point is going to be, and if you think we're going to settle down at the bottom of this parallel trading channel, or if we're going to break to the top of this line, break through the top of the parallel trading channel, and move up to this upward node. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. That's all I got. This is Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro. Like and subscribe if you have not already. And I want to say that all of my new followers are such fantastic, very, very tremendous people. You are the best, simply the best. See ya.